Welcome to Streams of Income with self-help author Ryan Rieger. For the next hour, you'll hear proven methods for how to live the multiple income streams dream. Ryan is passionate about helping others discover their gifts and start their own business. He's published 5 books, and his courses and group coaching programs have changed the lives of thousands of students all over the world. Ryan's books include Private Label, The Easy Way, Finding Your Grace Place, and his latest, Streams of Income. And now, here's your host, Ryan Rieger.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Streams of Income radio show. I'm your host, Ryan Rieger. And today we have a returning guest. She was actually just on a few weeks ago, but we have something important to bring to you because we're doing a webinar next Wednesday night on how to use short form video to bring new leads into your business. So this is kind of timely. We wanted to talk about this, and that's next Wednesday, February the 15th, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'll have a link in the show notes below. But Melissa Hughes is our returning guest. And if you remember, she has a really cool story of posting videos. Her very first video she posted went viral, and she got on the Kelly Clarkson show, which is pretty amazing. But now she teaches people how to use short form video to share their message, to build their business. And I'm partnering with her to bring a webinar next Wednesday night. But you're going to love this episode because it's so full of just practical things to do to help you with social media, with short form video, things like, what kind of content, how to get over being camera shy. We talked about her new podcast, and she has some awesome tips about how to be authentic on social media. And for those of us who are, we don't have this big polished team, or our content is not so super polished, it's helpful to know that that's actually not even what works on social media anyway. Folks now want us to be real and raw and authentic, and Melissa talks about that. So I know this episode is full of really good information. Here is my interview with Melissa. Melissa, welcome back to Streams of Income.
Thank you so much. I loved it so much last time. I decided to pop back in.
Yes, I'm so glad. I think I usually don't have people that I've had on the podcast initially come back as a returning guest so soon, but so you get that award for probably the quickest return visit.
Wow, I feel super honored. Thank you so much.
So, for those listening, Steven Hibbert, who's a co-host of mine often on this show, and we got to hang out with Melissa at PodFest a couple weekends ago. It was so fun. Guys, go to conferences. It's so important to build those relationships. Business is all about relationships, and I think a big reason that she's on here a second time is because we just built a friendship, and now we're doing some cool things together, and we're excited to see what happens. But
yeah, no, it's so awesome. You're so right about that. Somebody asked me, they were like, how was it? Did you enjoy it? I was like, I did. I really enjoyed basically just hanging out with the people, though.
I know. And going to the Columbia restaurant.
Yes, exactly. It was awesome.
So cool. Well, so for those that haven't listened to your episode, and I'll put a link to the show notes to that first episode you were on just a few short weeks ago. Tell us your story, a shorter version of how you got started doing all this.
Yeah, just the shortened version is my husband and I moved back to America from living over in the UK for a couple of years. We were church planting there, took a job in childcare because COVID hit, and was dropping my kids off at one end of the building and looking after someone else's, which was not the dream.
Right.
And I just started praying, God, we've just come back from church planting. We're wanting to make our life here. What's the next step? I do not know. And really, after a couple of months of really seeking God and praying, I felt him start speaking to me about going online and posting videos, which it was very random and seemed kind of dumb. Yeah.
So this is something we probably would have asked about in this first. We should have talked about in the first episode, but maybe we did even talk a little bit about hearing God's voice. But how do you? This is for you. It's been just practice and hearing His voice and knowing. But what does that sound like? Feel like? Give me an idea, because I know a lot of people listening are like, man, I want to hear God's voice that clearly, so that when He tells me something even random, that I trust that it's Him and not just my brain telling me to do that. So any quick tips on that, on hearing God's voice clearly?
Ryan, this is why I love being a guest on your show, because you ask the best questions. And you know what? I think I might even do a podcast episode on my show
You should.
about what to do when you feel spiritually dumb, because that has been my journey. So I love talking to people that are like, what are you talking about? Because when I was first a Christian and people would say, I heard God's voice, I'd be like, what does it sound like? Like, I'm dumb. Please break it down for me.
Right.
So the best way that I could like share this, and it is practice, but what I didn't realize was God was always speaking to me. He speaks to us every day. It's really starting to recognize it. And you can recognize it because God's voice is always encouraging, comforting, strengthening, or convicting. So, and that actually was taught to me by my mother-in-law. She's awesome. Hears God's voice clear as a bell. But, you know, God always has good things to say. So how that looks like in our everyday life is if you have a thought that you're like, wow, that's a really good idea. Like that really encourages me. It lifts your spirit. And a lot of times if it's a really good idea or a really encouraging, comforting thought, that's God's voice. When it inspires you. Also, God's voice never condemns us. So there's a difference between conviction and condemnation. If you're feeling guilt, shame, fear, you know, regret, that's not God's voice. But if you feel like you've done something wrong, but what comes with that is inspiration to change, that's conviction. And that's from the Holy Spirit. So, you know, just going through your everyday life, you know, when you see a billboard or you're listening to a Whitney Houston song and there's a line in the lyric that just like speaks to your heart and encourages you, that could be God's voice. So we really just, and then obviously like if scripture pops out to you in the word, but yeah, really starting to like, and pray and ask God and say, God, I know you speak, show me how you talk to me, and be open to that.
That's good. Good. We could do a whole episode on that, but I just made me think. I always think about, you know, if you were speaking, if you literally like we were up on stage talking and I was interviewing you and we had 1,000 people or 10,000 or 100,000 people in the audience, what would they be thinking as we're talking? And some of them would be like, wow, that's so cool that you heard God say post on social media. That's so random that I think someone would feel like, you know what? I don't trust that that's God, because that is so random. Why would God tell me to do that? And so just to have that confidence that you know it was him and you followed through, and then he gave you and you know what? Even if you miss it, it's okay. Like it's not a big deal. There's no pressure. So you put up a video, but you knew he was there because of what you're going to say here in a minute, because then the floodgates started opening up.
And I think too, you know, when it's God's voice, because you have the faith to do it. Like a year ago, if somebody said, go on YouTube, I would have been like, I don't have time for that. But I started feeling like, I think I should do this. And that was just God leading me. But so I posted my first video, and it got 22 million views, and I ended up on the Kelly Clarkson show, which is just insane. I mean, so I felt like I heard right.
Yes.
And then I just continued, you know, well, everyone's like, well, I want to go viral. It changes your life. It does. It opens a door. So it opened a door, and I had to walk through it. And what that looked like was taking very messy action, feeling very cringy, uncomfortable, stepping out, starting to go online and post videos, share my thoughts, and express myself. In my car on my lunch break while working.
What did you even talk about? Like what? So he told you to go on post on social media, but post what?
Yeah, exactly. So I really started just sharing about motherhood, because that was the video that went viral. It was a mom fail video. And so I just started talking about like, you know, moms just like enjoying their kids and enjoying the journey and not having it be perfect, and not, who cares if your kid throws a tantrum in the grocery store and you get dirty looks. Like, just, we're all in this together. It's just stuff like that. I started posting about it because I really just felt to like, this space was so new for me, and I wanted to just like start talking and showing up. And it was just cool to start seeing, you know, people really resonating with some of the stuff that I had to say. And it was very exciting to be able to like help women in that way.
So they were commenting because you were doing this primarily on TikTok at the time.
Mhm.
And now you're all over social media, but so they're just commenting back, and then you kind of build an audience, and you kind of have your own community inside there, right?
Yeah. I actually would respond to every single comment because I just felt like every person, like a person, it wasn't a comment to me, it was a human being.
Yes.
So I think that really helped too, that I think, it does take a lot of work. I mean, you're taking time to post and show up, but I think what was most important to me was anytime someone took the time to say something, and I still do it now.
Yeah.
I take the time to respond to every single person because I just feel like every person matters.
Do you get a lot of direct messages?
Yeah, I do. Wow. People asking me questions or being like, you said this, or this inspired me, or I'm going through this, like, what should I do? Yeah. So it's just really cool. Like, cause that's it. Like, I think people think social media is just like this vast void, but there are people with families, with dreams, with hopes on the other side of the screen that you are actually communicating with.
Yeah.
So,
wow. You guys went to plant a church in the UK, but I would actually, maybe tell me if I'm crazy to say this, that you're having a greater impact with your social media, what you're doing now, than you guys ever could have had at a church in the UK. What, is that crazy to say that?
I don't think it's crazy to say that. It's a different type of impact. I mean, who knows? Who even knows when we get to heaven?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's true though. I mean, I have people globally that tune in and see the content. Awesome. I mean, yeah. So yes, it's crazy because in a way, I record those in my car. We sold our house, sold everything, and moved across the country. And I have a greater reach from my phone.
Wow, that's impressive, man. Oh man. And now, I mean, I want to. I don't know if we'll have time to get to this, but I want to share the link to that video that that was you called it the voiceover. What was that? The one that Mommy Loves You. Mommy Loves You.
Oh,
I want to talk about at least share that link so people can listen to that because it's so powerful. But I was showing my wife just all the videos that people have created using your voiceover. I don't even know what you call it. What's the correct term for that?
Yeah, I have a voice. Well, on TikTok it'd be like the audio.
Okay.
But some people have called it like a mommy monologue.
Yeah.
Voiceover.
Yeah.
I did not actually I almost took that video down because I felt so cringy doing it because it was just it was so true. And then you put yourself out there like that and you're like, is this weird?
That was so awesome. Did you have those words already? Right? Did you have those written down when you wrote those? Wow, that's
no. I
read those. Wow.
I literally sat in my car and I took a moment and I just had, this sounds kind of bleak, but I had this thought where I was like, if I were to die, like what words do I want my children to always know? Sorry, it gets me emotional. And they just said,
I'm surprised you didn't cry in the video.
Yeah.
Because that would be hard. Yeah.
But I just turned the camera on and I just spoke right from my heart.
Yeah, that's so good. Oh, guys, I want to. I'll share the link to it because you don't even have to have a TikTok account, right, to watch it. I think I can share the link. You guys can watch the video because it's just really powerful. The words, I mean, I'd say they're Holy Spirit inspired.
Oh yeah,
because of the if you, especially watching those other people that are using that, and then their kids are tearing up and hugging their moms and dads. It's like, wow, so cool.
It's so cool. It's such a God thing.
Yeah. So you have your own ministry. You have 240 some thousand people that follow you on TikTok. That's like your church. How many people would like to have a 250,000 member church?
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know if I'm hopping on the phone with all those people every single night and walking them through their issues, but I do like to encourage them.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, but most people that are listening to this, they're thinking about this through a business lens.
Yeah.
So tell me about not just TikTok, because I know some people never want to go on TikTok for various reasons, but this is not about TikTok. This is about short form video that you're creating. Yes. And so I guess tell me, why is short form video the thing right now? Like, why can't, I still can post memes and pictures and all that, and that's fine. But you say that if somebody just hangs out there, they're going to get left behind.
Yes. So there's two sides to this. The first thing is like kind of what happened in the social media industry is in 2020, TikTok just became a social media disruptor. Whereas everything was so like the trends at that time was like perfectly polished, curated
Yeah.
Instagram influencer, megapixel. I'm at a beach with my family and we all look like we have six packs and it's this overly curated content.
Yes. Yes.
That was what was like really trending. And then
Mm,
COVID hit. And now we've got TikTok with these moms in their robes
yeah.
stuck in their house going online and just talking about real life. And people
Mm,
connected with it.
yeah.
And it totally disrupted the industry. And
Mm,
suddenly people are like, I don't forget Instagram. Like, forget all, like, I want the rawness, I want the realness.
mm,
So, because TikTok was really the first short form video platform, it just skyrocketed. And then what happened was every other platform, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, even was like, oh, shoot, we are losing people. And
yes.
they had to adjust their
That is that when they
algorithm.
added the stories and the
Yep.
reels and all of that, and now there's YouTube Shorts.
I guess so. Stories was there before,
Okay.
but as far as like being on that home page, like when you open the app, TikTok was a video. When you
Yes.
would open Instagram, it was a static image.
Yeah.
And there's something about, and this is why YouTube, I think, has even been such a successful platform for people building such a loyal audience, is because if you like maybe even before you clicked on a podcast, you might have seen my picture and
Hmm.
you thought, oh, she looks like a nice girl, or maybe you drew some conclusions. But
Hmm.
then you hop on the podcast and you hear my voice, you hear the inflectuation of my tone, you think I'm funny because I crack great jokes. You get to know me a bit more. It
Hmm.
goes even deeper though when you start to see someone on video and you see the way that their facial expressions, how they talk, their
Yeah.
smile. You
Mm.
just create such a deeper connection. And so I think right now everyone's just so hungry for that connection. So
Yeah.
that short video and you get those bite-sized clips. People are learning how to do all sorts of stuff through a
Mm.
1 minute video that they are getting all this information. So I think it's just really helpful. But yes,
Wow.
across all platforms right now, if you are not using short form video, you will be left behind.
Mm. You just said the connection word, and the just made me think about like in my business, it's so important that somebody know, like, and trust you. And
Uh-huh.
when they get to know you, then they may or may not like you. But then if they like you, then they begin to trust you, and that's at a point where they are then willing to spend money with you. And so I would imagine that short form video probably shortcuts that process,
Yes.
or just makes it. Yeah, maybe shortcut's a good word for that. Like it, if I would be much more like, because with you watching a video with somebody, you kind of start to feel like you know them already.
Oh yeah.
And you probably met people that follow you, and this has happened to me. Some will say, "I feel like I know you just by listening to your podcast," and it's like,
Yes.
and I've never met this person in person, and so it's just really cool. So that connection is
It
there
is.
just from you creating content.
Totally, which is just really cool.
Yeah.
And I understand that because there are people that I've listened to or books that I've read, and then you feel like you know their whole life
Right.
just
Exactly.
because of they've shared, which is so
Yeah.
cool.
Well, give us some tips. Like on the
Yeah.
last episode, we talked more about your heart behind doing all this. We talked some ministry stuff, but tips for doing short form content across all of the platforms. Think
Yeah.
about somebody wants to grow their business, start a business, but what are some tips for doing short form video well?
Yeah, I think thinking about like a lot of the things that people ask me, one of the things is like, what kind of equipment do I need? And I
Mm-hmm.
have to tell you, guys, I grew my account posting videos in my car with my phone. I had no ring light. I had no studio. I had nothing. I just had my phone. So if you have a phone, you've got all you need. And just like keep it simple, stupid. No,
Mm-hmm.
keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
that's
KISS
it.
method. Yep.
Yes. So, even if you're, you run a great business, everything like that, I think a big thing that I am noticing that a lot of professional business owners are struggling with is
Mm-hmm.
showing up authentically
Mm.
because you've been trained. If you're even doing training videos or you're showing up, you're in a suit, you talk like you kind of talk like this. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our show. Today, we're going to be talking about, but like, here's the thing that doesn't work on social media right now.
Yeah.
What works and what people tune into is when you talk to the camera like you're hanging out with your best friend. Right? So, and that's what people want to connect with every time.
Yes.
That's what's engaging for people. So you really, for people that are like used to being, showing up as your professional self at work, and you show up a certain way in your sales calls and everything like that, like that's great. If it's working for you, it's not going to work on social media. You can still give great content. Like right now, I am myself. I'm showing up. This is the way I talk to my husband, my children, my best friend. I'm myself. Show up as yourself, talk to the camera like you're talking to your best friend, still give great content so you don't lose credibility, but you don't need to show up as this overly curated, polished person.
Yeah.
And you're not going to lose credibility for doing that. So
that's good. You told me that we should talk about the Baskin Robbins method. Tell me about that.
That's basically, I feel like people learn lessons through storytelling, not lecturing. So I share this story because I feel like it helps people understand. But when I was growing up in 7th grade, I had this gym teacher that was she was just mean. And I like everybody, like even the grumpy people, you're going to be my friend. But my gym teacher, Miss Ravani, if you're listening, Miss Ravani, bless you, love you. But you were not the nicest lady. And so anyway, I just could not connect with her, didn't like her. And I'll never forget walking to Baskin Robbins. There was one on the corner of my street where I lived. Went there one day, and lo and behold, walking there, and there's Miss Ravani. And it's always weird. This was the first time I'd seen her outside of school. She's in regular clothes. Her daughter is with her. And when she turned around, she had mint chocolate chip ice cream. Yeah. And I'm like, whoa, like Miss Ravani I like mint chocolate chip ice cream. And she's a mom. Like, she has a daughter. Just like everything about that moment totally humanized her. And I did not see her as this like evil gym teacher dictator. I saw her as like a mom, a mint chocolate chip ice cream lover. Like it was like, and so I went over to her. We were able to chat and connect on a whole different level because I saw her in a different way. Yeah. And that next Monday, it totally changed our relationship. We connected in that way. And so like the beautiful thing right now with short form video is you have the opportunity to do that with your followers or with your business where people can really start to relate to you. That's what people want. And I have to remind myself of this is like, people don't want my expertise or all my tips. They want somebody that they can relate to, that they can trust, that they can feel like, wow, you go on Zoom calls and your kids interrupt you too. While you're trying to close a deal. I get that. And you're frustrated internally, but you're trying to keep it together in front of the camera so that people don't judge you and think you're a bad parent. I go through that too. Right? That's real life. That's what people want to be like, okay, like this girl gets me or this guy gets me. So being able to like showcase that rather than trying to pretend it doesn't exist is just so helpful.
Right. That's so good. All right. So let's take some examples just off the cuff here. So let's think about somebody who has their own product. You talked to a lady yesterday, I think, that has her own private label brand of bags. But anybody that has the product they're selling, they could be in network marketing and pushing a product, or they have their own brand. They're selling it on Amazon. Give me an example of what that person might do with short form video. What type of content would you tell that person to create?
Yes. So I would say definitely use what's called attraction marketing. Rather than being product forward, you should be value forward. And so you really need to understand like what's the overall problem that you're solving. So being results oriented, knowing your customer, knowing what issues they're facing, what headaches they have, what problems they've got. Turning up and leading with value to share how you can solve that problem. And then obviously you can share about your product. But you get people to buy into who you are as a person by connecting with them, by relating with them. Storytelling is a big thing. So showing up and sharing your personal story, sharing the struggle that you went through and like letting that resonate with people. A big thing that is like a big tip, probably the number one thing, if somebody could get this, they would be successful on the platform, is understanding how to open up a video with a hook. The biggest metric that TikTok uses, or any platform right now, or the way to engage an audience, is to be able to hook somebody within the first 3 to 5 seconds of that video. So what that doesn't mean is showing up and being like, hey guys, here I am at Panera, just hanging out. I'm really excited to talk to you. It's like, first of all, if I pull up that video and I've never met you before, I don't know anything about you, I'm going to scroll.
Yeah, right.
Because I have no idea if that video is for me or not.
Right.
As opposed to showing up and saying this is the best tip I've ever learned for calming crazy, frizzy, curly hair and making it smooth.
Ooh,
or something.
That's good.
Right? If you're trying to sell a product that helps curly haired women decrease frizz, then you should definitely say how to decrease frizz if you have curly hair. Let me tell you how. Within that way, a new person that's seeing your video immediately goes, oh, I have frizzy curly hair and I want smooth curly hair. I'm going to watch this video.
Yeah.
So really think about those keywords in the beginning of your video so that a new person, a brand new person, if they didn't know you, never met you, why should they watch your video? And is it going to tell them that this video is for them in those first couple seconds?
So if somebody's creating long form content, you would just have them, because you're talking, that's easier to do if it's like, hey, I got my cell phone, I'm going to record a video right now for Instagram, for TikTok, for Facebook, whatever. It's easier to do that like that way. But if you're doing long form content, you just want to sprinkle those things in, correct? Like, or maybe you're interviewing somebody, I may ask you, hey, Melissa, what are your top 3 tips for creating short form video, or what, something like that? Then that would be a hook that we could clip, correct?
Correct. Yes. And even like the great idea is like at the end of your interview, so that you don't have to like sift through the whole video. If that's like, if you're a podcaster and you're wanting to get those clips, at the end of the interview, just do rapid fire questions.
That's good.
Right. And just say like, and ask your guests, like prompt them before, say, hey, when I ask you these questions, could you repeat the question and then answer it? So saying like, if I were to say to you, hey, what are 3 ways that I could build multiple streams of income online? You would respond, say, the 3 best ways to build multiple streams of income online would be.
Nice.
Right. So that way, you're doing rapid fire.
Very
your
smart.
guest is incorporating the hook that you just asked, and you have those at the very end of your podcast so that you can clip those up and use that for content.
All right. Let's pretend that you are a social media manager for a church. How would you get what would you do there? Assuming your pastor's like not going to take the time to, do a video as often as you want him to. Ideas there for.
Yes. Ask, like, have a volunteer. It's all about the volunteers, or just somebody, have your wife or your husband on the front row, whoever's speaking that day, take their phone out and record you. And just grab a couple clips of you speaking, even if it's not the whole thing, or set your phone up on a tripod and put it in, like, test it out before you get up to speak, and just have your phone there and record a clip. It does not need to be overly polished if you don't have that type of team or media team to work with. The beautiful advantage that we do have right now is people they just want the content. It doesn't matter necessarily the format and how it comes. So, set your phone up on a tripod, hit record, and start and give the word. If you don't have a media team. If you do have a media team, ask them, hey, each week, could you go through and grab a couple clips from my message and post that on social media? Because the way that we can see more people come to church, know about Jesus, is if they see messages and value, rather than, hey guys, on Wednesday night, we have, Bible study at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Great. That's great for your members, but for an unreached audience, they're not they don't care.
Exactly.
They're in sin. They're not coming to your Bible study on Wednesday night. They
That's
don't.
awesome.
That is not what they're interested in. That is not their pain point at this point in time.
Oh my gosh,
You
that's
know what I'm
awesome.
saying?
Yes.
We need to clip
Mm,
that, Ryan.
that's so good. No, I love. We can edit if you
Uh,
want, but I think that's so
no, I
good.
think we should keep it as is. Let's put
Yes,
that in a short clip and post
hilarious.
it.
Oh man, that's so good. Wow.
Yeah.
Some of the other things we could. I mean, I got about 10 minutes here left. Just looking at the clock here, but
Okay.
we talked earlier. Like those people who are getting started. Like, oh man, I know I need to do short form video. It's very easy to feel like an idiot in front of the camera and to be
Yes.
camera shy. Any tips for overcoming that and just doing it?
Oh my goodness. I have to tell you, you are going to feel cringy. Embrace, lean in
Yeah.
into that cringe. Everybody goes through it, and it's more challenging for you than the person on the other side of the screen.
Yeah.
You feel more stupid,
Mhm.
and it goes away. It really does. Like right now, I don't feel cringy, but honestly, probably for the first 6 to 9 months. And I'm not a shy person. So I can't imagine someone that feels very shy showing up on camera and feeling confident. Like I understand it feels very vulnerable. It feels very scary to put yourself out there. Everybody has insecurities. But this is the thing. If you feel, number one, called by God to do it, man, it's not about you. It's about that person on the other side of the screen that you are like showing up for. So it gets me emotional because there is somebody on the other side of our obedience.
Yes.
And we make it about ourselves and we're like, well, I don't like my nose, or like I have bags under my eyes, or whatever we tell ourselves. And it holds us back from being a light. It holds us back from growing our business. It holds us back from being able to encourage someone. So like, if you could just tell yourself, like, this is not about me. Get over the pride, get over the insecurity. Everyone feels cringy. Like, please hear me. I really struggled with other people's opinions. I really realized it's a huge journey of personal growth. I really realized, wow, I didn't think I cared that much about what other people think, but I was really struggling with it. Like, what are people going to think about what I'm saying? Do people agree with what I'm saying? Is what I'm saying good enough? And I grew, and my account was growing, and I still was in my head.
Sure.
So I really want to be transparent about that for people, because I think they think that people just show up and they just become successful and it's easy for them. It was not easy for me, and it's still not easy. Like everyone struggles with that. So I just want to say, get on the struggle bus with me and make some money while you're doing it.
Love it. That's a good. I don't know if I haven't listened to all your episodes of your new podcast, but we'll share about that here in a second.
Yay.
But that'd be a good episode too, if you haven't talked about that yet.
Write that down. What should I title it, Ryan?
Oh man, get over yourself, or it could be something about thinking about the other person. One thing that I am not the natural person to like, hey, everybody, look at me, what I'm doing. It feels very uncomfortable to, like, for example, like when I was growing up, I did not like being the center of attention. Like birthday parties, for example, I'd rather have just my family over than all of my friends. And like, hey, let's sing happy birthday to Ryan. I'm not the guy that wants to, if we're at a restaurant, I don't want to wear the Mexican hat and stand on my chair as they sing to me. That's just, to me, I don't like the attention. And so the Lord told me, like, again, this is what I'm doing is not about me. It's about the people that he needs to reach through me. And so it made it so much easier to promote what I'm doing, because I'm promoting him and the message that he gave me. And so it's very easy to promote the Lord for me. It's very easy to talk about him. And so that was a way for me to get over myself and like put myself out of the way. This is just a message. I'm just the messenger.
Yes.
And so it's not me promoting me. It's me promoting that message that he gave me. So
yes. And I think, for believers, and I struggled with this so much, was having that revelation, like God showing me, like, this is for the person on the other side of the screen, but me worried that other people would think that I think it's about me. like that was my thing, is I'm like, oh, people think that I think I'm awesome. People think that it's all about me. And you just have to get like, who
Sure.
knows what people are thinking? But that was like a big story that I struggled with. So I understand that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. You mentioned one time too, this is switching gears for a second, that TikTok can be a tremendous, now TikTok specifically, I imagine it would work for Facebook or Instagram or YouTube Shorts, but a tremendous way to get new leads into your business. Can you talk about like what you would do, what you are doing it, because you got your TikTok blueprint that you give away and you have a course and everything.
Yeah.
So what does it look like to generate leads on TikTok, and how should people be doing it?
Yeah, so start thinking about social media as a tool. It's not just like something you have to have. Like, okay, let's like use this like a weapon. How can we use this strategically? So TikTok is an incredible outreach platform. You can use it as a funnel. It's free marketing. Like the algorithm will push your content out to people in your niche and in your industry for free. Hello. And then you can use that to attract people to yourself by adding value to them, being a giver, serving people. And then when people like what you have to say, use it as a funnel to show people like, hey, give that call to action. Like, hey, I have this freebie, don't say link in bio. You can say schmink and schmio or find, or say something like, where to go to get it. Because the algorithm picks up on some of those keywords.
Yeah.
So you gotta
Didn't know that.
Yeah. Wow. You gotta be creative. Or even like pointing, saying like, go and get it, but offer people that free gift, capture their email, and then start nurturing those relationships through your email.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. It's an incredible funnel. Awesome. Like one of the best, I think right now, so many people struggle to like, they're, going to network or they're going to marketing. Oh my goodness. They're going to, networking events and it's time in the car and it's talking to people, and you might get stuck in a conversation with one person for 30 minutes and you walk out feeling defeated. Well, hey, you could bang out 10 TikToks in an hour and get thousands, hundreds, millions of eyes on your content. It's incredible.
Wow. When you post a new video, how many views do you get now typically? I mean, when a video doesn't go viral and get 22 million views overnight, but like most videos, how many, like if you post something in the evening, you wake up, how many views typically are on a video of yours?
It truly varies, and it depends on what I'm talking about at that time. Seriously, sometimes my videos could get like 300 views, and other times they're, 1 million. Like, wow. It ranges. I think on average though, it's in the thousands, but it really, I think a lot of people think that like creators know when their content's going to go viral, and we don't. It's a surprise. I mean, sometimes like I know if I go on there and I'm like, hey, here's exactly how you're going to calm your toddler down in 1 minute. People are going to be like, oh, I want that, right? Because I know my audience, I know what they like. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's a lot of times you post something and you're like, I can't believe that took off, or you think something's going to take off and it doesn't. So you just got to be consistent.
Yeah, that's so good. Tell me about your new podcast.
Well, let me tell you about Wingman VAs. I have a new podcast. It's being produced by an amazing company, Wingman VAs. And the podcast is called She Can Share. And it's actually very much about kind of what we have been talking about. It's helping women, more so women of faith, leverage and use their voice to share Christ, but also their passion, their business, and really leveraging the online space to do that, but also how you can do that in your everyday life. So it's all about sharing. For some reason, women feel intimidated. They don't have confidence. They're afraid to do it because they think it's self-promoting. And everything at the end of the day is all about our heart, which, but I just think like Jesus told us to go and make disciples, and he gave us a voice for a reason. And there's power. The Bible says that there's life and death in the power of the tongue. So if we actually have the power to create life through our tongue, why are we not using it to create life? We can encourage, we can build up, we can strengthen, we can convict. Like we can literally be the mouthpiece of Christ to people. It's amazing. So awesome. Yeah, full circle right there.
That's
the
right.
voice of God.
Wow.
To people and the reach right now online. And you know me, Ryan, you know that I like to stop people in my everyday life, and talk to them about what God's speaking to me about or whatever. But like if Jesus were alive today, would he be on TikTok talking about, things of heaven? And probably he'd be telling you how to fish.
Yeah, he'd probably be showing off his woodworking skills.
Yeah. He's like, here's how you monetize.
Here's how you make a table.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, tell them real quick. I got a couple minutes left. Tell them about the webinar we're doing next Wednesday.
Yes. Do not miss out on this. We're doing a webinar next Wednesday, the 15th, February 15th, all about how you can be successful on TikTok. And I really love to make these value packed. So it's going to be full of like nuggets and tips, like practical implementation tools, not just this, ethereal concept that you're going to walk away with and be like, okay, Melissa, what do I do? This is exactly how you're going to launch short form videos online to generate leads and sales to your business. And I'm really excited about it. And you do not want to miss out.
Yes. And that's next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. And I'll put a link in the show notes.
Yes.
Cool. Well, Melissa, you're welcome back anytime. You just let me know when you want to come back on and we'll talk about something else fun.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I love this show. Love your heart. I think it's awesome. I'm so grateful. Awesome.
Glad to have you. Anytime.
You've been listening to Streams of Income with self-help author Ryan Rieger. From right here in the Dallas Metroplex, Ryan teaches several entrepreneurial courses and group coaching programs to students all over the world. Be sure to listen next week at the same time for Streams of Income with Ryan Rieger.